Our investigative reporters have been working on looking at the sewage and water board and some of the vast problems within that system and the city of New Orleans. And they have a special called Down the Drain coming up on Wednesday night at 6 p.m. And one of those reporters is Katie Moore, and you've been following this story very closely.
Yeah.
And you've been looking at especially one of the big problems, the catch basins.
I have. I've done a couple of stories on the catch basins and the vacuum trucks and all of the problems that we've seen the city having trying to get those things cleaned out.
Yeah, and that's a city problem. The drainage is the sewage and water board's problem.
Right, which I think that in itself is a problem, that you have half the drainage system controlled by one agency and half the drainage system controlled by another. But we're taking a look at all of that, at everything that has gone into the drainage system, all of the things that really led up to those floods in July and in August of this year.
Will we get a lot of answers on this? Because there are so many things we just don't know about what's going on.
We are going to get tons of answers. And Eric, we've been looking through hundreds of public records. We've been interviewing dozens of people, talking to people on camera, off camera, on background, trying to really assess what led to those floods, what has caused the problems, and what needs to be done to fix it. And one of the things that we did for this special, which I think is going to be really incredible for people to see, is we came up with a whole timeline of how those floods on August 5th played out and what happened as soon as that rain started falling, what contributed to the flooding in terms of the pumping system and the whole drainage system in general, went hour by hour, minute by minute to try and figure out what exactly happened. So I want to give you a little preview of what's in Down the Drain. 1:10 p.m., rain starts falling in parts of the city. A drainage pump at Pump Station 7 in City Park kicks on, pushing water up the Orleans Avenue Canal and into the lake. 2:33 p.m., operators at Pump Station 2 in Mid-City fire up some of their drainage pumps, sending water up the Broad Street canals to Pump Station 3 in Gentilly. 5 minutes later, at 2:38 p.m., the first sign that Pump Station 3 is having problems powering its pumps. For nearly 2 hours, operators will try and fail to get the pumps up and running at Station 3. Meantime, water is still headed its way, and it starts backing up into the city.
And Katie, this is such a huge problem, and you know, we have seen such anger by people here in New Orleans, and those of us who live here are pretty upset about this. You know, you kind of wonder, has it been politics that's kept this from being solved, and how did it go this bad this long?
That's a great question, and I think politics definitely has played a role. Anybody who's taken a look at the system overall, and of course we've been looking at it in depth, I probably know more about, you know, the pumping stations at this point than I do about things going on in my own house. You know, it's been months that we've been working to try and figure out the answers to those questions. You know, what are the main things that contributed to this? How did it get so bad? How long has it been that bad? And, you know, another question in all of this is, what can those pumps really handle? I don't think anybody really has a good, firm grip on what the answer to that question is. And that's one of the things that we're going to be taking a look at tonight. At 10 o'clock on Eyewitness News, another story I'm doing related to this Down the Drain special. I have an exclusive interview with a pump station operator who really gives us an inside look at what went down on August 5th and what some of those problems are within the system.
And the sad part about this is, you know, Katrina was the biggest wake-up call this city has ever gotten. The system was cleaned out then, but it was kind of neglected for the next 10, 12 years.
Yeah, and I think a big part of this Down the Drain special that is going to be airing on Wednesday is a look at the decisions that were made after Katrina, opportunities that were missed, money that was sent in certain directions that maybe it shouldn't have been. You know, we've heard from my colleague David Hammer, who's reported on some of that already, and he has a lot more exclusive findings. So does my colleague Mike Pearlstein, who's been working on this. All three of us and a team of researchers have been really digging into this for months, so we hope everybody's going to tune in.
We'll be watching for your story tonight at 10, and then on Wednesday at 6 p.m. right here on Channel 4, a story you will not want to miss called Down the Drain.